Old-fashioned detective work and the latest in forensic technology, investigators discovered the identity of the man terrorizing Los Angeles.
Authorities in Los Angeles and San Francisco announced tonight that this man, Richard Ramirez, is the suspect in the Night Stalker murders. That word came at a hastily announced news conference.
He's a male Latin, 25 years of age, 6'1", 155 pounds, black hair, brown eyes.
Ramirez was a 25-year-old drifter from El Paso, Texas. A drug addict and small-time thief, he moved to Los Angeles in 1982. He stole whatever he could get his hands on to pay for his habit. Within a year, he was arrested for car theft. He served 6 months in jail. Ramirez was photographed and fingerprinted. Those fingerprints were the ones on file that finally revealed his true identity, and that mugshot was now all over the city.
Little did we know he was outside of Los Angeles when the photograph of him was released to the press.
Ramirez was in Arizona visiting a relative. He had no idea that his name and photo were being broadcast on every news outlet in Los Angeles.
As a result of all the publicity this case generated, an individual came forward. As a result of the information that we received from this individual about the Greyhound bus depot, we placed a surveillance on the bus depot.
Everyone was on the lookout for Ramirez, as the police staked out each bus depot exit, hoping to snatch him as he left. Ramirez returned.
That morning, he's coming into town on a Greyhound bus from the Arizona area, from Phoenix. He notices the surveillance, the plainclothes officers. He has no idea they're there for him. But just being a street person and being cautious, he didn't go out the pedestrian exit. He went out the bus entrance, walked out on the street, walked down to a small liquor store.
He looked down and he saw the newspapers, and his photograph was on all the newspapers. At the same point, a woman in the back of the store recognized him, and she turned as white as a ghost, and she pointed and she said, El Matador, which means the killer.
He panics. He jumps on a bus. He's trying to go to East L.A. He had a brother that lived in East L.A. As he's on the bus, they start turning around and comparing him to the newspaper and pointing at him and saying, it's him, it's him.
Ramirez jumped off the bus and started running. He ran 2 miles over the freeway and into East Los Angeles. There, he tried to steal a car and break into a house, but there were too many people on the street. They shouted at him and called the police. Over 40 police cars and 7 helicopters began scouring the streets of East LA.
At one point, he ran across the Santa Ana freeway, 7:30 in the morning. Didn't get hit by a car. Makes it into East LA. And starts towards his brother's house. He eventually makes it into the county area, across Indiana, where a female is leaving her home. He attempts to carjack her. The neighbors see this, come to her aid, and she screams.
Then all the neighbors just hung together and got him, chased him down the street. And then what did you do when you caught up with him? I socked him.
Ramirez was trapped.
He gets hit with a pipe. They hold him. They call the sheriff's department. And the deputy sheriff arrives, and he's placed under arrest at that point.
Suddenly, it was all over. Ironically, after 6 months of chasing the Night Stalker, the police had to step in and save the serial killer's life.
We're happy to announce that the individual we have in custody is Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker.
Ramirez was taken to Hollenbeck Police Station. An angry mob descended on the building.
The entire Hollenbeck Police Station was surrounded with citizens. I mean, 10 deep. It was like a scene from the Old West when they were going to lynch whoever was in there.
Well, this had obviously received an awful lot of news play. It was on every news station, every newscast that went out all day and all night long.
That night was the first night we went over to talk to him, Gil and I identified him by fingerprints that this was, in fact, that Richard Ramirez we were looking for. We sat down with him, introduced ourselves, turned the tape recorder on, fully expecting to get a statement from him, and he invoked his right not to speak.
But the detectives had an ace up their sleeves, Frank Salerno.
He was quite honestly awestruck by Frank Salerno, because Frank Salerno had worked on the Hillside Strike, or he knew about it.
We established a rapport with him from the very first day we met him, the day of his arrest. We talked about a lot of things, talked about his background, his upbringing, his parents, this and that.
As Ramirez settled in with his interrogators, he revealed much about himself, offering a unique look inside the mind of a serial killer. Among the most startling revelations, the detectives discovered that Ramirez's childhood offered many explanations of his violent behavior.
His father regularly beat all his sons. Richard was the youngest, and the father was a huge, very strong man, and would beat him to the point he would be black and blue.
We have a young boy who's getting beat by his father, and so he's feeling like a victim. But he sees where the power center is. It's in the one who's doing the beating. So he's learning something.
There were other destructive forces in young Ramirez's life as well.
He had a cousin, Mike, who he hung around with that he really looked up to. That was his role model. And Mike would talk to him about what it means to be a man.
His cousin served in Vietnam. Mike would tell Richard about the atrocities he committed during the war.
He would show the young Richard pictures of things that he did to women, including rape and mutilation.
Cold-blooded murder was also a part of Ramirez's childhood. He watched as his cousin killed his wife.
Was that traumatic for him, or was it exciting for him? The possibility is, after being exposed to the things that Mike was telling him, that it was exciting to watch somebody actually take charge in this manner and exercise power over life and death of another human being, especially a woman.
The Night Stalker's demented 6-month power trip had spread fear, mayhem, and death across the Los Angeles area, with a brutal side trip to San Francisco sparking statewide panic. But now, investigators had defused the deranged killer. In a garage in East LA, police found his car. Inside were bullets that had been loaded into the gun he used in 2 incidents. They also recovered a handgun he had used in another murder.
It's very hard to understand that somebody that you grew up with, that you shared so many wonderful things, birthday parties and boyfriends and girlfriends and all these lovely things of a childhood that you shared with them, that someone like that is possible of doing all this harm. It's impossible.
Worse than the impossible is the unimaginable. Investigators suspect Ramirez committed many more murders than will ever be known.
In all told, after talking to him, there may have been 10, 12 more murders, potentially, that Ramirez was never charged with, that he could be responsible for in Los Angeles County.
Finally behind bars, the Night Stalker was charged with 43 felonies, including 13 counts of murder. But the mesmerizing saga of the Night Stalker case still had more twists ahead.
People versus Richard Ramirez.
At his trial, the satanic, demented nature of Richard Ramirez would strike fear into Los Angeles once again.
There were